Hello, you're welcome to Organizational Behavior. My name is Dr. Gabriel Gaddafi, Senior Lecturer, Islida University. Today, we are going to discuss about Introduction to Organizational Behavior. Our learning objective includes one, which by the end of this chapter, you will be able to define organizational behavior and explain its importance. You will be able to identify key trends shaping the modern workplaces. You will be able to explain workplaces diversities and its implications. And then you should be able to describe the scientific foundation of organizational behavior. You will be able to understand the workplace and its environment. And you will be able to trace the origin of organizational behavior management. And to round up the chapter, you should be able to explain the scopes of organizational behavior. As students of business communication or teaching English as foreign language or in teaching or learning English for translation and interpretation, by the time you graduate, you will most likely be working in different organizations. So this course is very important for you. Okay, now, first, let us look at what is organizational behavior, okay? Organizational behavior is the system or systematic study of how people behave in organizations, both individually and in groups, and how organizational structure work to achieve these goals. For example, let me use Islida University of Business as an example. It's a large organization, it's an institution with different departments, different faculties. You have the cleaners, you have the office attendants, you have the accountants, you have the lecturers, you have the administrators. So how do these people work together? How do they behave? This is what organizational behavior is looking at. And so there are key focus. What are the key focus areas of organizational behavior? First, the key focus include individual behavior, that is your personality, your perception, okay, and what motivates you in your workplace. Secondly, group behavior, which include teams, leaderships, and communication. How do you work as a team? In any organization, you cannot work in isolation. You need to work in team building, you need to work together, okay, to achieve the long-term goal of that organization. And thirdly, organizational system, which includes the culture, the structures, and the policies. The culture, the structure, and the policies, okay? Now, why OB matters? Why organizational behavior matters? This is very, very important. Organizational behavior is very important in any establishment. And it is important because it improves productivity, it reduces conflict, it enhances employee satisfaction, it supports ethical and inclusive workplace. You know, when we talk about productivity, what is the goal of any organization? The goal of any organization is to increase, or rather, is to make profit. Let me put it in a nutshell, is to make profit. So that is why each department in that organization must come together to achieve that long-term goal of the organization. Secondly, it reduces conflict, because in every organization, there will be conflict, there will be competition, and there will be cooperation. What we call the 3 C's, okay? There will be 3 C's in any organization. There will always be conflict, there will be cooperation, and there will be competition. So Organizational behavior helps to reduce conflict because conflict can affect the objective or the long-term goal of that organization. Then, enhances employee satisfaction. Of course, the goal or the objective of every employee or every worker is to be satisfied. It depends, whatever satisfies you. It could be your salary, it could be your colleagues, it could be the working environment, it could be the social status you get from that organization, you know? So this satisfaction is very important if you follow the organizational behavior. And lastly, it supports ethical and inclusive. Ethics are basically the things to do that are right or probably wrong. Okay, in what you are supposed to do and what you are not supposed to do. What we call the do's and don'ts of the organization. And then the inclusiveness in the workplace. There are some people, either you are a male or you are a female, either you are handicapped or you are disabled. Are you included? Are you part of the organization? Because that alone can lead to satisfaction. Okay? Now, let us go and look at the fields of organizational behavior. The fields of organizational behavior. Organizational behavior is interdisciplinary. It draws from different disciplines to apply, which is applied in the organization. Okay? We look at it from first the micro, from the macro, which is the individual, to the macro, which is the group organization. Okay? And here it applies psychology, social psychology, sociology, and anthropology. These are the disciplines that organizational behavior tap from. Okay? So when you talk of psychology, in terms of psychology, it looks at punctuality, it looks at things that job satisfaction, it looks at like the individual decision making, okay? And then when you look at the social psychology, yeah, this has to talk of a behavioral change, okay? It talks about attitude change. It talks about common sense, you know? It talks about group procession. And of course, also, when we look, it talks about communication and power, authority, okay? Then looking at the sociology also includes power, communication, and then organizational sociology, organizational change, organizational culture. And then anthropology, which is talking about comparison, you know, comparison of the values, of the norms, and of also analytical of the organization. Okay, so all these can apply individually and also in the group. Okay, so basically, in a nutshell, we can say simply we can define organizational behavior as organizational behavior explains why people act the way they do at work. In a simple form, you can say organizational behavior it deals with how people or the way people behave or what they do at work. Okay, now let's progress. Which discipline best explains conflicts at work? This is a teaser for you. Which discipline best explains conflict at work? Okay, among these disciplines. Okay, we've talked about psychology, we talk about sociology, anthropology, economics, and political science. Okay, and this is their contribution. Psychology contributes personality, motivation, and learning. Sociology contributes group dynamics and the organization. Okay, anthropology contributes culture and values, while economics contribute incentives, decision making. And lastly, political science contributes power, conflict, and authority. So the question for you now is, which discipline best explains conflicts at work? Which discipline do you think best explains conflict at work among these disciplines? Well, the best answer is, simply put, sociology. Sociology helps to deal with conflict at work, okay? Sociology explains conflict at work because it focuses on group behavior, it deals with social interaction, power and relationship, roles, status, and authority, as well as organizational structure and inequality. So this is why sociology is very important in organizational behavior. And workplace conflict, remember, I told you there are 3 C's that occurs in every organization: conflict, cooperation, and competition, okay? In most cases, it starts with cooperation. Different departments will cooperate, but later they will start to compete among themselves. Maybe one department want to perform better, like maybe sales want to do better than marketing. They are supposed to work together. Sales is doing better than marketing. Maybe IT, information technology, your computer is not working and they are not cooperating, they are not helping you. So all this will now lead to conflict, okay? Organizational behavior will help to reduce conflict, like we said earlier. And so, group dynamics, competition for resources, power and authority issues, communication breakdown between groups or departments, and these are the core sociological concerns which organizational behavior tends to deal with. Okay? Well, we'll stop here today. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. If you have done so, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and of course, you can drop your comments, ask questions if there are other things that are not clear to you that you would like to me to handle. Thank you.